like to just take a moment and share with you that the greetings you hear all the time, if I translate that or transcreate that in spirit, what it's actually saying is, sovereign belongs to all wisdom, and victory belongs to all wisdom. What it basically is that we are centered around this idea of wisdom. Even the Guru means that. So Guru Nanak Sahib's unique and unparalleled proclamation in the late 15th century was Eko Onkar. Eko Onkar is one force that sees oneness in everything and everyone. Now, I am a Star Wars fan, as you heard, and they all talk about invoking the force. But the difference here is the one force paradigm, because the force is one, is that it propels a symbiotic doctrine of love and justice, which has to be practiced. They are both, love is a verb as well, not just a noun. So it's seen in practice. It's an act of will. And this doctrine of love and justice, born out of this oneness, it changed the destiny of South Asia and beyond. And this unique declaration was translated into a governing principle that sees no otherness. So since there are parliamentarians here, it's all about policies, you know that. And your policies come out of your belief systems. And the belief system here is oneness, which means whatever policy is being made, there must not be practice of any otherness. So no policy that accepts racism or sexism and its new variations of early 21st centuries now. At this juncture, at its 550th anniversary, its interpretation awaits today's Australia, because we are the new kids on the block, although we've been here 100 plus years as well. But in terms of governance, we are the new kids on the block. In fact, we are new outside South Asia in governance. So this otherness, which has accentuated today by indulging in religious bigotry and ultra-nationalism, is becoming very, very dangerous globally, including in this country. So this is where the one-force paradigm addresses the global challenge by integrating the aptitude of political activism with the gift of spiritual elevation for our times. So political activism combined with spiritual elevation. So Guru Nanak came into this world not to start a new religion. Yes, this might throw some of you off, but to establish a new Raj. I say that because when you saw the witnessing and you saw the celebration and the commemoration of Guru Granth Sahib, because this is what's documented in Guru Granth Sahib. I go by the primary source. And what is Guru Granth Sahib to us then? It is akin to a scriptural canon in a religious world, and it's akin to a charter in a political manifesto world. So what you heard at the end of the ceremony, it was not a mantra. It actually said what was read, one hymn, and the beginning line of that hymn, I was listening carefully today. To me, it's a charter. I have to interpret it for today. It said, in forgetfulness comes frustration. Those of you who heard it in Punjabi and Gurmukhi, that's what it said. In forgetfulness comes the frustration, and those who do not feel the one force, they are the ones who are being deceived. This is why Guru Granth Sahib is a charter. It has to be interpreted for the kind of realities we are dealing in. And when Guru Nanak's arrival 550 years ago is recorded in Guru Granth Sahib, it says exactly this, and I'm going to quote it for you. It says, Nanak started the Raj, built on the eternal foundation, built a fort on strong eternal foundations. With the oneness wisdom, he bestowed life, sword, and strength. That's the exact quote. So what does this mean? Look, Raj is a native Punjabi word. It's also a South Asian word, which means governance or rule. Its essential purpose in the Sikh faith is to create just economic and political policies. Guru Nanak started a new system of governance based on one force paradigm and the oneness that permeated the universe. So Guru traveled, he dialogued, he observed, and he eventually set up a new system of Raj in a city called Kartarpur. He spent last roughly 2 decades plus of his life building these governing policies of oneness. And he called that place Kartarpur, which literally means creator will, where the creativity needs to be brought out, where the oneness of creator needs to be brought out, rather than the religious and political ideologies which are based on divisiveness or otherness. So this is where the training of a new kind of people started, which we now call Sikh. At the time, they were called spirit-born people. So we were not law-driven, because you know what is illegal today can become legal tomorrow. It depends on you guys, the kind of laws you pass. So it's not based on law. So we were called the spirit-born people, and they became the lovers of the one. It's very important because this lover word is used repeatedly in Guru Granth Sahib. And they were the ones who were graced with the wisdom sword. Wisdom and sword is symbolic as well as in practice. Hence you see the kirpan as well. But kirpan is also literally does not mean a weapon, by the way. Kirpan literally means it's a combination of grace and honor. Something which is used gracefully to protect anyone's honor, not just us, which is very different than justice. So it's about justice. So today we are commemorating 550 in Canberra, which in generally acceptable folklore means the meeting place. So if this is the meeting place we are sitting in, this meeting place has actually achieved Australia as the #1 country in the world on the education index. Congratulations. And it happened because of this meeting place. So all of you are very learned, that's what it means. And if you're very learned, this is where I get to apply Guru Nanak's oneness principle. Guru Nanak calls knowledge the ultimate weapon. Ahran mat ved hatyar. Those of you read this in Japji every day. If this is the ultimate weapon, we better learn how to load this one up very responsibly. And if you're going to load this up, my challenge, or the challenge I give to parliamentarians sitting here and the community leaders, is how do you go to the next realm of existence, and how do you become the #1 country in the world on the wisdom index? Yes, I'm carving that phrase because it does not exist currently. Because wisdom is practice of knowledge. It's how you use education. So this is where, let's talk about a very practical application of oneness in the paradigm of Guru Nanak to an issue which is very large, maybe #1 in Australia, but globally it is the #1 issue, including your KPMGs of the world are telling you this about Australia, that the issue which is facing the world is political paralysis. So I want to apply Guru Nanak's oneness on how do you solve this political paralysis, because that's where governance comes in. So there's a breakdown in engagement, there's a breakdown in trust. This is causing genuine headaches for people at large and for leadership, because they're concerned with the growing polarization. Again, polarization is on religious bigotry, on ultranationalism. So in this constantly changing hyper-political social media climate, how can evidence-based good policies be offered that are also subject to community discussion? That's the challenge. Evidence-based and community discussion. Toxicity of the political climate is increasing. The word liar in courts, even in Australia, is routinely shouted, while opposing positions are constantly misinterpreted or outlandish claims are often left uninterrogated. That's the climate we live in today. So what do? We need to inspire the rise of fearless public servants is my proposal here. This is only possible if all of us apply the oneness paradigm, not just the politicians, which demands that no one is treated as the other, and the otherness must be replaced by oneness. Sikhi's original impetus was love-based, which meant treating all human beings as part of one light and guaranteeing their economic and political rights as birthrights, not because UN's charter says so or because the legal laws of the country, certain countries say so. This is a birthright of humans. So zero tolerance for today, it means on race, gender, sexuality, equity, and other forms of otherness. So become like the Ekankar. That's the eternal gift of Guru Nanak, which he offered years ago. We want to become like the divine. This is not a blasphemy for Sikhs. It says it very clearly, become like the divine, become like the force. So this is the gift Guru Nanak gave 550 years ago, and now I, on behalf of all Sikh Australians, share this eternal gift with all Australians, so you can carve out just and public policies, invoke one force, nurture oneness, and put yourself as the #1 country on the Wisdom Index. Thank you.
Thank you.